Hi guys, welcome back to TV Spoilers. Today I'm going to review to you the sentence Mariah faces for kidnapping and unlawful detention. The news of Mariah's legal troubles came to Sharon in the most cruel way, unprepared, defenseless, and without a safe space for her heart to breathe. In the context of everything on Y&R being stretched taut by moral cracks, exhausting investigations, and the feeling that anyone could slip across their own boundaries, Sharon heard the word kidnapping as a sentence not only for Mariah, but for the entire family. She understood that when an incident is called by its proper name in an investigation file, emotions are immediately regulated to a secondary position. The complex, tangled truth in the mind of a wounded person is often not considered a mitigating circumstance, but only a weak justification. Sharon was no stranger to the darkness of mental disorder, to misguided choices born from fear, to how a moment of losing control could become an excuse for an entire town to brand you dangerous. Therefore, her despair wasn't just about fearing Mariah's punishment, but about Mariah being forever defined by the worst mistake of her life. Mariah, at the center of the storm, was no longer the girl who always tried to appear strong to protect those she loved. She carried a chain of consequences that she herself wasn't sure she could fully explain, even to the person she trusted most. The kidnapping, whatever the underlying motive, however the panic and hallucinations had driven her, was an act that deprived another of their freedom, plunging them into fear and helplessness. And in the world of Y&R, where tragedies are often masked by flowery words, the law is as cold as a knife. Either there's evidence or there isn't. Either you're held accountable or you're crushed. Mariah faced not only the police, the prosecutor, the public opinion of Genoa City, but also something even more terrifying, the gaze of her loved ones, who wanted to embrace her, yet couldn't deny that they had been hurt by her. That's when the name Christine Blair Romalotti emerged as a rare straight line in the chaotic labyrinth. Christine wasn't the type to soothe emotions, nor was she someone who liked to turn the case into a stage. Her presence evoked a sense of order, discipline, and that things could still be put back in their place, though not easily or gently. Christine's role in rescuing Mariah from kidnapping accusations wasn't a miracle. It's a battle of reason against a storm of emotions, an attempt to transform the unspeakable into verifiable evidence. Christine will be forced to confront the core issue: who was harmed, detained, or threatened? Where lies the line between a deliberate crime and an act stemming from a state of mental instability? And most importantly, how can the court see the inner person at fault instead of just a sensational headline kidnapping? But no matter how capable Christine is, she cannot control another front, the emotional front, where Tessa stands as the most painful bottleneck. If the law is something that can be debated with evidence, then trust in marriage is so fragile that a single nightmare is enough to make people recoil, avoid confrontation, and wonder, am I safe? The question of is Tessa willing to meet Mariah is actually more than just a meeting. It was a question of whether Tessa dared to reopen the door to fear that had once torn their lives apart. After a kidnapping experience, the natural human reaction is to often postpone anything that might trigger the memory. To postpone dialogue, to postpone forgiveness, to postpone even the moment of looking directly at the person who had frightened them. Tessa might love Mariah, but love isn't an instant antidote. Tessa needed time to distinguish between the Mariah she knew, the gentle, clumsy, always trying to make amends, and the Mariah in her turmoil, the one who had dragged them into disaster. And that hesitation, though unspoken, was enough to make Mariah feel left on the fringes of her own life. Sharon saw this more clearly than anyone else. She was not only hurt by the alleged kidnapping of her daughter, but also by the realization that some wounds cannot be resolved by trial, whether one wins or loses. Even if Christine helped Mariah escape the most serious charges, even if she could change how the case was defined, Sharon understood the road ahead would be long and cold. Mariah might get out of prison, but would she escape the guilt of knowing she had frightened the woman she loved? Tessa might agree to meet, but would Mariah's presence make Tessa's tremble instinctively recoil? And if that moment occurred, Sharon knew her daughter would break down in a way no law could mend. Abby Newman and Devin Winters are actively searching for their son. Mariah's mental state is described as unstable, and she is facing serious kidnapping charges. Mariah's wife, Tessa Porter, is struggling to accept Mariah's actions and is considering a divorce, possibly starting a new relationship with Daniel Romalotti. Dominic is expected to be reunited with Abby and Devin. Mariah will be arrested and face kidnapping charges upon her return to Genoa City. Christine Blair Romalotti will be Mariah's defense attorney in this case. Will he be able to rescue Mariah? On our TV Spoilers channel, I always seek content inspiration for each video by compiling short video clips to analyze and offer my personal opinions. This channel specializes in analyzing, theorizing, and discussing plot points in the Young and the Restless series from the perspective of a longtime fan. Through this, viewers can gain deeper, more objective, and more interesting perspectives. Subscribe to the channel to stay updated on the latest news about the Young and the Restless series.